Hi, folks. Welcome to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. We are two idiots who love to talk about things we have no idea what we're talking about. Today, as your co host, Mark, joined by my wonderful co host, Harry,
Hello.
we will discuss NFTs
Yeah.
badly, conspiracies half heartedly. No, I'm just kidding, folks. We're going to discuss them stupidly. That doesn't mean it's half hearted, okay? I'm going to dump all my love and energy into talking about all this, but it's not going to come out intelligent. So, NFTs, we're going to talk about a little bit of conspiracies. We've been neglecting a little bit of that. Sorry. We're going to discuss the the Sony Bungie buyout. We'll discuss a couple of movie trailers that came out not too long ago. And then we'll wing it from there as fucking usual.
Yep.
Harry,
Yeah.
how was your week?
My week was same old, same old. It's
Harry,
work, that's it,
nothing same old with you,
Mm-hmm.
pal.
Well, just same shit. Work and gaming, and that's it.
I
Nothing
get you.
extraordinary happened. Just normal week. Which is, I'm not complaining about. I'm not
Yay,
complaining
you
about.
have every right to complain, okay? Every right, if you wanted.
If I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
But,
about, how about yourself?
Harry,
Yeah.
I gotta have, that was the shortest my week of all time. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to
Oh,
do
wait.
mine
I stand
oh,
corrected.
oh,
Oh shit. Forgot. It's not well, I guess it's part of my week. The 31st of January, which was Monday, um was the 25th anniversary of the release of Final Fantasy VII in Japan.
ooh.
So there's that. I celebrate the American release date. Um uh
Look at you fucking casual.
September 7th. But still, it's still something to celebrate, right? 25 years of Final Fantasy VII. Um,
Of course.
and the reason why I celebrate the American, it's not because I'm an American. It's just because I played the American version, not the Japanese version.
Of course.
Yeah. And 9797 is just such a better fucking date, you know?
Oh yeah. I'm completely in agreement.
um,
Absolutely.
yeah. That's literally it. That's the only thing
All
of my
right.
week.
Hey, that's perfectly fine, bud.
Mhm.
As long as you're okay.
I am. I am.
Good, good, good. My week is a fucking hellscape.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned what I did what I
Yep.
starting school and all that, right?
I don't know if you talked about that in the podcast.
Fuck. Well, I don't know. So I started school again.
Mm-hmm.
15th time's a charm.
Woo.
Uh so I'm taking a couple of easier classes to help build up a nice little foundation. And since I am now unemployed,
Yeah.
it will be a little easier for me to put off all the things that I want to do.
Mm.
Yeah. So doing some of that, uh, trying to get some reading done. God, you know what I fucking miss?
Huh.
I miss being able to read like 50 pages a day. I fucking miss that.
Mm.
I have been sitting down tearing through fucking or at least nibbling through Game of Thrones
Yeah.
or a Clash of Kings. No. Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, A Storm of Swords. Uh pretty consistently and I love it.
That's good.
Um really enjoyable as always. But I really want to make the jump from like fiction and fantasy to I think a little more current eventy stuff.
Okay.
Uh Sam Cedar and the Majority Report, who are a
Hmm.
YouTube podcast, um, have a book collection, or they interview writers who typically discuss some kind of like discourse or issues going on. Let me see if I could find a topic or two. Those are some books that I actually really want to get into reading. Let's see. But in the meantime, I have really been enjoying actually getting the chance to read every
Yeah.
now and then. Like I'll put in at least like 10 pages a day at the very least. If I'm feeling bored, I go back to reading and it's something I actually really like doing. Um but yeah, let's see. So one is like Boeing's Corporate Nosedive. That's actually a pretty popular one. Um,
Huh?
I think in the late 2000s or late 2010s, Boeing created software that actually like killed
Well,
two commercial planes. So what ended up happening is like the software would was designed to assist pilots, and it ended up just like nosediving the plane and locking the controls for pilots,
oh
causing
wow.
them to just yeah. So the first time this happened, they just fucking threw the pilots under the bus, and then
Shit.
the second fucking time it happened, they were like, oh, so yeah, it might be the software.
Might
You know
be.
what? We'll take that one. Another one would be like how neoliberalism broke the supply chain. Because, like, again, like we talk about stuff because we're idiots on this podcast, but
Yeah.
like, there's some things that I actually genuinely want to know about, and I want to know them from kind of more or less like a leftist perspective.
Yeah.
Um, and how we were talking about bleh, how we were talking before um, about manufacturing consent
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. It's kind of hard for me to digest something and then know where it might be coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have your basic tenets, right? Like, oh, this is bad or that is bad. But one of the things that that always trips me up is whenever I hear someone like Ben Shapiro make an argument, it doesn't matter that like I can tell he's wrong.
Mm.
It's when I listen to what he says from time to time, he like I can't necessarily like pull apart what he says.
Okay.
And that's something that I typically want to like get better at, but it's like I don't really know how, and I would feel more comfortable because I do like Sam Cedar. I think he's super intelligent. I really enjoy a lot of the content that he puts on. He's a trusted source on for me, so I typically involve his interviews. So
Okay.
love the books that I'm reading. Want to transfer to nonfiction stuff, current event stuff. Um, yeah, my family is going through a bit of a COVID crisis, so I'm fucking locked into my room every
Okay.
moment of the day. Harry?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh God, you scared me. I thought you were dead.
No.
Oh, don't do that to me. But yeah, so it's perfect. I have so much time to sit down and wonder why I'm not getting any work done. So it's perfect, really. I mean, I
Sounds
can't ask
perfect.
for any
No.
more. But yeah. Uh oh, you know what? In my um in my time of despair, I
Yes.
actually managed to ingest all of the Korean zombie high school horror.
Ah,
Uh
yes.
All of Us Are Dead.
All of us are dead. Yeah.
Um All of Us Are Dead, as I said before, is a Korean high school zombie horror comedy-ish. Um, I think it's probably safer to say it's just horror.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just attribute like a slightly different lens of filmmaking to some of the more humorous parts.
Okay.
Um, really fun stuff. I Every time I watch a movie from like a foreign environment, I'm like, man, their stuff looks so cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting down, and we fucking have what do we have with schools? We have schools that talk about like gang violence and shit and how awful our schools are and how racist they are and shit.
Yeah.
Fucking, you go to Korea and they have the coolest fucking schools, and they have such peppy students that survive zombie apocalypses. Like, fuck, come on now. I mean, I guarantee you, we would all be dead if zombies. Oh man, that'd be perfect. We should just adapt. All of us are dead in like an American setting and just tie it into like the fucking the psychopaths who are going over school boards and complaining about CRT. Like, oh fuck, the this seems to like infect people and like it's happening at schools because high communicability and all that, and then fucking parents are like, how dare you spread this misinformation, I'm taking my kid out of school. You can't because they're a fucking zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, get fucked. Oh man, that'd be so
I'm
good.
trying to think. So obviously, like, there are many American zombie movies out there. I'm trying to think if there is a actual like representation of how Americans would react to something like that.
Badly.
Um,
Badly.
like,
I do think, all things said and done, I do think you could make a really solid zombie film that has commentary on your current. I mean, I'm sure you could make that about any climate, any political climate of any time. But
yeah,
like, Don't Look Up,
man, I've
I
been meaning
think
to
could have
watch that.
also been like a. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
Um, I'm certain there are some criticisms if I watched it a couple more times that I could glean from it. But I've always enjoyed the commentary
yeah.
that zombie films tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and especially if you're dealing with slow zombies, I'm so certain you could make like a Don't Look Up, but with zombies kind of film. That would be fun with high schoolers and fucking school boards and government intervention, all that shite. That would be fun.
Yeah, I think
Um,
they can make it.
oh yeah, absolutely. Fucking but yeah, super fun. A couple like minor gripes aside, I won't even bother with them. Um, Fun characters, a lot of fucking people dying.
Yeah.
One of the things that's tough for me is I tend to the uh the drama tends to wear off for me a little bit when you have like 4 or 5 people dying
And
in
then there's
like
no
5
lich.
minutes. Shut the fuck up. Shut. I like how I prefaced what I would like, and fucking it's like that's a lot of prefaces, or that's a lot of conditions, da, 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 and then all I had to fucking say was, I wish Army of the Dead had a lich in it. And he's like, oh yeah, 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 cool, 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 yeah. Fucking okay. So earlier the week,
Yeah.
I was complaining that Western or like Hollywood zombie films, like I feel like it's only natural that like something like a lich would be a fun thing to put in a zombie film, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you got the running zombies, those guys wore off like 15 years ago. You've got like
Mm,
the smart zombie, you've got like the slightly intelligent one, right? But like what about like a in our contemporary world, what about like a lich, right? Like a necromancer, like an undead being who's just controlling other zombies. And I'm like, oh man, that's kind of like the next logical step, right? Well, fuck. They kind of tried to do that in this franchise, where it's
mm.
like one of the guys gets bitten and he just dies, and then he wakes up, and now he's super fucking strong and durable. But like, that's pretty much it. He just like walks around and the zombies ignore him. But man,
Well,
fuck.
like I was saying, I feel like I brought it up last night or the night that
Mm,
night. Game of Thrones.
Tuesday.
The
Yeah, yeah, that's an example. I think um the Night King or the Night's King.
there you go. Yeah.
Um I suppose what I was trying to get at was like a contemporary like with guns zombie movie that has like a lich in it, you know? Because it's like
Yeah.
a lich and a
So
necromancer are
because because it's more fantasy based. Game of
yeah.
Thrones is. Yeah,
And
fair
like
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
you see that a lot, right? Where it's like
Yeah.
D&D or fucking something. It's always like, "Oh, go slay this necromancer." And he's got a couple fucking pissant skeletons or draugr,
Yeah.
and then you fucking kill him and he's a whiny bitch, right? Like that's nothing. Like that's something. Or, you fucking find that he's like, "Oh, he's the Dark Lord." But like, I don't know. I read this book in high school
Mm.
just because I was fucking bored, called Monster Island. And it's about so the global north has essentially been like fucked. Like fucked by zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like this mass emigration to the global south, like parts of Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, and so on and so forth. And a lot of these refugees, immigrants, um, are state and governmental folks who are trying to uh, curry favor to get themselves into like comfortable conditions in the global south. What is the new kind of paradigm? One of them is
Yeah.
this guy called Decalb or something. Fuck, I don't give a
Oh.
shit. Deckard, and he works for the UN as some kind of like virologist. It's always like a science virology guy.
Right.
Um, but he's now tasked by the Congolese government, I think Congo doesn't Central African government, to essentially like retrieve some kind of like cure or something in the UN headquarters in New York. Long
Mm-hmm.
story short, that doesn't fucking work, but that doesn't fucking matter because the fucking breakout of the story is this character that they find along the way in New York.
Okay.
This fucking guy, his name's Gary. I want that to
Gary.
sink in the more and more I tell you this fucking story.
Gary.
Gary. He
Gary.
wakes up in the middle of fucking nowhere and like he's trying to gnaw on like the non-rotten supplies that have like been left. He's like wandering around. He finds like this death squad of like Central African soldiers and a couple of fucking other people.
Mm.
Uh and he has like these weird sensational like feelings or something. I
Mm.
don't fucking know. But essentially one of the uh one of the death squad people is fucking badly injured and he's like trying to help her and whatnot while they're all trying to escape the zombies, and they finally have like a moment reprieve and he fucking eats the shit out of her.
Fuck
He
yeah.
just like, oh fuck, like he's a cognizant dude who just like eats people like a fucking zombie. You
It's a
realize
fucking
he's
cannibal.
basically a fucking zombie. Yeah, no, he's a fucking zombie.
Oh,
He's a fucking zombie with his mind like still intact, except like
interesting.
no memory of like where he's been. He's probably just like lying on the fucking ground, right?
Yeah.
So they find him fucking gnawing on this poor woman and they blow his brains out, and like
This is Gary,
it
right?
doesn't kill him. Yeah, fucking Gary doesn't kill him.
Motherfucking Gary.
He like puts yeah, motherfucking Gary. He puts his fucking finger in his head where his fucking brain should be, and it's like part of it's gone. Like the fucking I smell vanilla portion of his brain,
Yeah.
it's fucked.
Oh
But like that
no.
doesn't matter. Like there's like like there's something else to him. There's something beyond just like his physical thing. I don't fucking know. But eventually he realizes that he can like coordinate zombies, and he eventually starts
Oh.
feeding on like the last couple of survivors uh in New York too. And
Oh.
whatever, the fucking death squad people mount an assault, they get away, yada yada. Um but that shit was so fucking awesome when I was reading about it. I was like, damn, this dude is mass coordinating fucking zombies like ants. And then you find out that in the third fucking book, there's this kid who calls himself like Tsarevich, I think, like the Tsar, a Russian kid. And
Okay.
he's just fucking sweeping across parts of Eurasia and like Russia, Asia, and then into like Eastern Europe and like South into Africa. And he's just fucking shit up, like with
Hmm.
his zombies. I thought that shit was so fucking cool, and I'm like, man, I like to see a fucking movie like that where it's like, oh, you thought you knew zombies, and then you have like the walker, and then like it shows a montage of like the runner. They're like, well, think again, and then it's just fucking Gary, just fucking just
Fucking
fucking
Gary.
Gary. Like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Gary, and he's just like sicking zombies on people.
Oh, well, fucking
So yeah,
Gary.
all that to get to they didn't put that in fucking All of Us Are Dead. All of Us Are Dead is still enjoyable. Um, Fun little grouping of characters, a lot of melodrama. Um, yeah,
Fair
and
enough.
then what else am I thinking of? Oh, I mentioned earlier, off camera or off recording,
Yep.
I just watched the newest Paranormal Activity. I missed like 4 of them, I swear. Um, the newest Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. Um, Follows a young woman who recently discovers her relationship through 23andMe with like a group of Amish-esque people who kind of live in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
She's an orphan. Uh, this guy comes in contact with her. He's like, "Hey, I'm your fucking cousin. How you doing? Pleasure to meet you. Let's come up here and get to know you." And then, of course, it wouldn't be a fucking Paranormal Activity film if creepy shit did not ensue, and creepy shit does ensue. Um, I actually was a big fan of the first 2 Paranormal Activities at first. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
I can be behind that.
there
I
was
I, I
oh
liked
yeah,
him too.
yeah, of course. Um, there was like a glut of found footage films in like the late 2000s and like the early and mid 2010s.
Yeah.
Uh, that I and there's still some really good ones. VHS 1990 something is pretty enjoyable. Um, Parts of what we were talking about last week, Archive 81 or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That one's enjoyable, but I wouldn't necessarily categorize that as found footage. Um,
Right.
but there are good ones out there. Just because it's a saturated market or was a saturated market does not devalue all of them.
Right.
So I liked the first 2. I liked the first 2 for their pace. I liked the first 2, specifically the first one. We'll go with the first one. I liked the first one because I thought it managed to build up a really strong sense of dread and fear in a short amount of time and in a very like fun kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I still shit my pants when the female character just wakes up and is just staring at the boyfriend while he's sleeping
Yes.
for like 2 hours. Yeah, I don't get creeped out in movies often, but like that's just an example of like one of a couple different parts in that movie that I just think are so well done. And there's no I gotcha or fucking he dies in like this moment or like no jump scare. The movie does have jump scares, but it's more reliant on drawing out this this unsettling like environment, right?
Yep.
It's not so much like you got some dude who's just got a fucking cock-shaped axe just like popping out of a corner every 5 seconds. No, it's like there's some great shit. You can hear walking in the background. You can see like pitter patter of like dusted feet. The fucking chick doing the fucking staring for 2 hours. Like all this stuff doesn't have like a jump scare. It's just meant to like really unsettle you,
Yeah.
and it works. It works in a really enjoyable way, partly also because of the found footage aspect of it. A fixed camera, um, most of the time, this like top down corner of the room setting. Uh,
Mm.
I bring this up because Paranormal Activity Next of Kin is uh, far from what I've immensely enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's far too reliant on jump scares. Um, well, let me put it this way. Let me start with this. I think the premise is interesting. I like the idea of them going to like this outskirty Amishy area, and then the Amish are fucking like psycho Amish and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I like it. It creates an environment where the characters are alone. Um, they threw in a little bit of comedy. I don't know if the franchise was prone to comedy before then, but like they had this guy who was kind of like a bit of the goofball,
Mhm.
which worked. Um, Nothing wrong with the performances. I think they were pretty standard for found footage. I think found footage really thrives in terms of performances when you don't really know who your actors are, nobodies, or like uh, not really well known talent. Um,
Yeah.
so then the main gripes. Uh, I am a big all in found footage kind of person. Um, it has to the whole point with found footage is that it's meant to elicit a kind of like a realism, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, this happened, or oh, like, oh, this is happening, or oh, this is like this is real. Like the
Right.
whole point of found footage, like that they even joked with Texas Chainsaw Massacre was like, oh, this is based on true events.
Yeah.
And same thing with Blair Witch Project. It begins like that. But Cloverfield, you and I were talking about this right
Mhm.
before, is like, oh, salvaged by the U.S. military as evidence for Clover Project or whatever. So there's like this, um, there's this kind of meta aspect to it, or this kind of pseudo documentary style feeling it has, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it's in there that I think that you need to like. Hold on, let me rephrase that. It's a word salad.
Words. The
That is something that
cock-shaped
I think you need.
axe.
Yeah, there we go. The cock-shaped axe. Yeah, that'll just be the name of our podcast from now on.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the cock-shaped axe with Harry and Mark. Um, you have to go all in with stuff like that.
Mhm.
So by that I mean like use diegetic sounds and
Yeah.
don't use shots outside of the camera. When I say diegetic, I'm gonna fucking explain this once shortly because I was fucking over explaining it to Harry, who probably already knew after like the first explanation. Diegetic sounds, in terms of like filmmaking in films, are things that happen within the universe of the film. Non diegetic is something like a score, it doesn't exist within the universe of the film, it doesn't exist within the environment.
Mhm.
So if you're listening to, or if you're watching a movie and the characters turn on the radio and you hear like fucking, I don't know, new metal, K-pop, or fucking whatever playing, and that's the only music, and they're listening to it and they're reacting to it, that's diegetic. Like I was the other example, uh, Phantom Menace, when fucking Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Maul are just fucking duking it out in Naboo, and the fucking bomb ass music is playing, uh,
Oh,
Battle of the Fates.
oh.
Exactly. That is non-diegetic. It does not exist within the universe of the film. It is meant to exactly. I swear, John Williams had to have been on fucking mushrooms when he created that song. Anyway,
Mm.
that is not existing within the confines of that universe. Like, it's something in post production to elicit like a feeling from that moment. So, Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin, uses sound cues and music in a non-diegetic way, which I do not like. Anything that reminds you that you're watching a movie and not found footage material, I think hurts the found footage quality. Um, Other parts are the use of non-camera based like angles. So it would be like you're filming the camera or filming the camera. You're filming with a camera, and you got the shakiness and the graininess of the camera in your hand, right?
Right.
And you're running down some stairs, and then the next shot would be actually, you could probably use diegetic and non-diegetic the same way. Diegetic would probably be the camera, anything that the camera sees, and then
Right.
non-diegetic would probably be the anything that you can't see with the camera. And
Yeah.
they do that a lot in this too. Um,
Mm.
I I've seen this before. There was a movie, I think in the late 2000s or early 2010s, uh, about some kind of exorcism. I can't quite remember. It was a sequel. Uh,
Oh, it's like Exorcism, The Last Exorcism or something like that.
I think so,
Was it The
maybe.
Last Exorcism? I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And in
It,
the end, the woman is like she's possessed by like a fire demon or something.
so I remember like
No.
no, what I remember was like the people that were around her actually like worship Satan, and they're like trying to bring like the son of Satan and using the girl to like give birth or something like that. That's the one I remember.
Yes, I actually think that might be it. So yeah, no, I think that might actually be it.
See, The Last Exorcism. Yep, American found footage supernatural horror film
Hmm.
directed
So the
by
sequel
Daniel
to that,
Stam.
hmm
I don't know
yeah,
who
he
that
went
is.
far.
What did he
The
do?
sequel to that, I have no
Sorry,
fucking
sorry to
idea.
distract. I was like, sorry to
No, no, no,
distract
no,
you.
you're fine.
All right, so the sequel to that, part two.
The sequel to that literally begins, I think, multiple billion. Yeah, multiple. So the sequel to that is the Last Exorcism Part Two,
Mm,
where it opens with music or some kind of like it opens with diegetic camera work, as in like a person in universe holding a camera. Oh God, where are we? Or something, and then us finding that character, but music is playing and it's
mm,
non-diegetic. So I don't know. I tend to have an issue with, well, not an issue. Like I said, it I'm all in when it comes to found footage. Um Personally, I think Blair Witch is my all-time favorite found footage just because it is so committed
mm,
to the found footage like medium.
yeah,
It's a medium within film where it's like, you know, the camera's being thrown around a lot. You don't get much visual. A lot of it's based on sound and like uh some visuals, but a lot of it is like, oh wow, these people are real fucking idiots and they don't know how to work a camera.
right,
And that is what kind of pulls you in. There's no music, there's no, artificial audio cue to imply that something's bad. You're just hearing some dude out in the middle of nowhere screaming. You're
yeah,
seeing like rocks get dropped over. Oh fuck, I didn't even fucking see these, man. um that I think is far more powerful. What kind of hurts the this movie is there are shot, like I'm saying, non-diegetic shots and non-diegetic music. And it is that unwillingness to commit to the full found footage uh dogma, if you will, that I think the first couple of Paranormal Activities did. Because that's what's so great about the first Paranormal Activity. It's like most of it is literally a fixed camera where they're saying like, "Oh, hey, I hooked this up because weird shit is going on in my house," and like the guy grabbing the camera whenever shit's going down, and that's it. No
mm,
music, no nothing. The only music that comes, I think, is when the end credits are going. They're like, "Oh, his body was never found," and that was
yeah.
it. But yeah, uh, this movie was fine. I'm just a bitch who complains too much.
No,
And there you go.
you're just particular, man. That's all
Don't
it is.
don't do it. Don't feed my terrible goddamn opinions.
Um,
Oh
but
god.
man, that was a
But
great week.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Other than slowly going insane from being locked in my room this whole time. Oh god, it's great. I'm not sick, but my dad's sick. and he walks around the entire house instead of being in his room. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Um,
God. Anyway, so that's my week. I watched a lot of shit and then complained. Oh, did I mention?
Possibly.
Fucking Harry. I watched, or am in the process of watching, the Friday the 13th franchise.
You mentioned it to me, but I'm not sure if you mentioned it to the podcast.
You're the only one that matters.
All right, then let's fucking move on.
Uh, so yeah, I mentioned on the podcast that we watched the Scream franchise. We watched the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. We actually just watched Scream 5. It was pretty good too.
Hmm.
But last week we started watching Friday the 13th. And I got to tell you, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I was pulled from the abyss when it had said it's just a movie made so that people can fuck with the screen on. But I have to ascribe
Subscribe.
more to it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just looking
Mm.
for words. Word salad. I really enjoy the first one. Like the first one, I think is a solid fucking piece. It looks good. It doesn't feel like it's an '80s movie, and that's what I really fucking love about it. It's got a nice bit of tension. The kills are nice and gory. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I don't give it too much credit. I do think the Friday the 13th the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is better, just in terms of anything, in my opinion. I'm still of the mind that the Halloween franchise is the best '80s franchise that there
Mm.
is. I mean, for horror,
Yeah.
like so far, I haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but like, I think Michael is more scary and more enjoyable than any of the other like big established baddies I've ever seen. And that was my opinion before too. But
Yeah.
anyway, uh the franchise just gives diminishing returns the more it gets, an additional number attached onto it.
Yeah.
Um I just hate the '80s. I really do. And the movie just insists on looking more and more like an '80s film every time. Um it's also really hard to distinguish the film for me at
Okay.
least because or it's really hard for me to distinguish each iteration mainly because they're all set on a fucking forest cabined beach, all of them, fucking all of them,
Yeah.
and they're all full of horny teenagers that I can't tell apart, any of them. There is not a single distinguishable character amongst any of them. Ugh, and I hate it. I
Yeah.
can at least say like, oh hey, the fucking the first one for Nightmare on Elm Street had Johnny Depp in it. Then the second one was
Mm.
about the guy, and it had a lot of like gay coming out, like sexual identity kind of stuff to it. Then the third one was about fucking people in a mental asylum. Then like the fourth and fifth one were a little hard to distinguish because they were
Mm.
kind of in the same vein of Friday the 13th, like indistinguishable fucking idiots in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But like I can at least say that. I had to fucking parse out the movies with Stace. Like, wait, was this the one with the guy in the wheelchair that we didn't want to die? Wait, was this the one with the fucking nerd who's just like a bag of shit? Like deep down, like we were trying to base it off that,
Mm-hmm.
like the very minute character details that they all had. And I get it, like I get it, I really do. It's sexploitation. You get some titties on the screen, you get some asses in the seats, but like the killings were like censored or like hidden. the more and more the movies came in. Like it somehow got like a larger budget, yet still had awful like gore and awful kills that just were so lame. Like I can't imagine this is the franchise where everyone just like ritualistically cheers when people die
Mm,
instead of it being something like Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, once we finish fucking God, we have two more. We have
Uh,
no, we have fucking three more. We
ew.
have Jason Takes Manhattan and Jason Goes to Hell, and then we have Jason X.
And then you can finally watch Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. You know, funny trivia
Uh,
about that?
yeah.
Freddy is teased apparently. Sorry, Stace, if you're watching this. Freddy is actually teased in Freddy Goes to Hell in the end of uh, Friday the 13th, like 9.
Interesting.
Right. Then Jason X is 2001, then Freddy versus Jason is 2000. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Um, but on top of that, they were actually going to do a crossover in the late 90s with Jason and Freddy against Ash.
What?
Yeah.
Would have
I'm
been the
I
fucking
I was
tits, dude.
yeah, like they became deadites or something. Like they're deadites. But I thought that I don't know how valid this is, but apparently there was some information about like a crossover with the Evil Dead group, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Huh. That
Yeah,
would have been
yeah.
dope.
And then I have to fucking watch fucking Freddy v Jason. And then and fucking then I have to watch the fucking reboots. Oh
Oh,
fuck.
wow. Yeah, you're right.
Ugh. But yeah, I ended up actually talking with Stace about that because Friday the 13th, 2010 or something or 9
Hmm.
and Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 or 2011, they're both fucking awful.
Oh,
Like I don't think anyone really wanted them mainly because new cast, they're complete reboots,
yeah.
which is interesting given like the modern appeal for like revival for the revival of the franchises, right?
Yeah.
There's a character in Scream 5, haha, the newest one, who dubs it the requel. And I actually think there's a lot of credence to that. She makes a point of saying like you can't just start from scratch anymore. Part of what like
Hmm.
markets these franchises that like, you know, as a kid you watch them with your parents, you watch them, you know, with your friends, and you grow attached to some of these characters even if, you know, they die or whatever. So you create a sequel that has wholly new characters but rely on legacy characters. So I as a marketing tool, it's like, oh hey, we're not going to completely restart the franchise because of the fan base. We're going to try to find, you know, people who haven't been in this fucking franchise for like 30 fucking years,
Yeah.
uh, and bring them in to lend credibility to this sequel. I think the most recent one on our show that we talked about was Halloween, the newest
Hmm.
ones, Halloween and Halloween Kills,
Yeah.
where, you know, there had been sequel after sequel, and then they did Halloween 2.0, and they did a couple other sequels there. But, you know, there was always some derision between the filmmakers and Jamie Lee Curtis, and people wanted, or fans wanted, a specific story that, you know, catered to what they wanted. So
Right.
here's, you know, and the Rob Zombie movies. Oh, don't get me started with the Rob Zombie movies. But now you have these this what I assume is probably going to be a trilogy that, you know, it has Jamie, it has a whole bunch of legacy characters, it has a fairly not out there story, and it's fairly middle of the road, but it's making money. It's
Mm-hmm.
making money because I would imagine Jamie Lee Curtis and the idea of having a bunch of people with continuity to the previous movies.
Yeah.
Star Wars is like this. The new Scream is very much like this. They have a new cast of characters who are aided by, Nev Campbell, uh, the fucking chick from Friends,
Yeah.
Sidney Prescott. No, not Sidney Prescott. That's Nev Campbell. God, Gail
Courtney
Weathers. What's her
Cox? No.
fucking name? Yeah,
Or
thank you.
mm.
Courtney Corks.
Yep.
And then Nev. Why do I want to keep saying Nev Campbell? David Arquette. So you have
Because
some of these guys, and
Bruce Campbell.
they're yeah. George Lucas. But yeah, so it was just interesting. We were kind of getting into like, okay, well, what defines a requel?
Yeah.
And I typically went along the lines of like, oh, well, that's like a franchise film that kind of gets like a revival with its original actors and so on and so forth. And we
Mm.
are kind of talking about like, it's obviously probably more advantageous to reboot or requel a franchise than to reboot it. Um, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street are actually perfect examples of why fans kind of get turned off to reboots, because it's just typically like the same thing but with a new coat of paint. Whereas there's a marketability in the old mixed with the new, right? Like
Yeah.
now you have Jamie Lee Curtis, and you know, she's like, oh man, it's been 40 years and she's finally back, and it's so cool that she's in this. And we got like a whole bunch of other people who were actually in the movies, and they're fighting Michael, and like, oh, this is a truer version of what the story could be, right? So
Mm.
interesting stuff to discuss. But
Yeah.
since we're on the discussion
Mm-hmm.
of requels,
Prequels.
did we want to discuss the requel Tejas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah. I saw the trailer. Uh, I'm. I don't know how to feel about it. I obviously they're making it more modern. Um,
Hmm.
what made me laugh was in the trailer where the guy's like, uh, like do something, you're gonna get canceled.
Yeah,
Just
we're gonna
fucking.
we're canceling you.
He's just like he just looks at him
You're
like
dead.
what? He just fucking chainsaws him. Oh,
That's so
so
good.
good. So yeah. I'm interested to watch it. We'll see if I actually watch it. Um,
Yeah, I'll
but
watch it for you and
thank
just
you.
talk at
Um,
length.
but yeah, no, it looks good. I don't know, man. Like, we've discussed it before. I'm not too big on when it comes to horror movies. Um, when I watch horror movies, I'm more about laughing at the like over the topness.
Hmm.
Um, like like that part, right? Like him just sawing people while like they're threatening to
Yeah,
cancel him. That stuff I laugh to. But
it's fun being judgmental to like the obviously shallow characters that were made, right?
yeah.
Like Stace and I like, oh, that bitch is obviously gonna get her fucking head cut off. I'm like, oh
Mm,
man, why does the nice guy have to die? Or like,
right.
like you root for these characters in like a
Mhm.
very team player kind of way, and I get the view, I get that kind of feeling from what I've seen in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre requel.
Yeah. Mm.
I actually haven't seen the franchise yet, so I might have to fucking
Ah.
get in there before the 18th. To
Yeah.
be fair,
To be fair.
I do think I have seen more attempts to reinvigorate this franchise than any other.
Really? I'm trying to think.
Like I don't know what it is, but I always remember, at least in the late 2000s and early 2010s, seeing like every other every 3 years, like some random Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer, you know? Like,
Mm,
oh, I'm hiding behind the meat hooks, shaky cam, sweating, panting, a little bit of blood, and then I
yeah.
don't know what it is. I'm probably just fucking imagining things.
Maybe. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre 3D,
God.
Leatherface 2017. So,
Oh,
like,
I don't remember
yeah,
that.
so there was a 6-year hiatus, 6 or 7 year hiatus, 8 year hiatus for one or two of the movies, but like
Uh,
2003, 2006, 2013, 2017.
mm.
Yeah, all
Mm.
with different groups. But apparently, since we were talking about like the magic of getting old legacy characters back,
Mm-hmm.
uh, one of the characters in the trailer is actually a legacy character from the first film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the silver-haired older lady who
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of doing a bit of like a Jamie Lee Curtis thing with. She apparently is from the first film. She's
Oh,
one of the
wow.
survivors. Yeah.
Okay,
But
that's
if
good.
you even actually, it's interesting because if you look at the if you look at the life cycle of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have the same like how do you put it? It doesn't have the same like spike in the 80s. Like Freddy and Jason, the bulk of their films are in the 80s. Like man oh man oh man, there's a movie almost every fucking year or every other year for Friday the 13th. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much a movie every other year for the Freddy films.
Yeah.
All starting around 1980, 1981, 1979.
Yeah.
But Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one, 1974, two, 1986, three, 1990, The Next Generation, 95,
Mm.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so just a fucking reboot, I guess,
Yeah.
2003, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, which is, I would imagine, a fucking
Pretty cool.
prequel to the reboot,
Yeah.
2006, 3D. God, there was a, oh man, oh, God damn, can I pull us away from Texas Chainsaw Massacre for like 15 seconds?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Both fucking Freddy and Jason movies had the worst, shameless fucking 3D movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. One of them in each of the franchise that are just so fucking awful. The moment I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, I just immediately thought of Leatherface just and it's like the chainsaw's right up in front of the camera. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, aren't these special effects so good? They're just popping out of the fucking screen." Anyway, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It looks good.
Yeah. I agree.
They seem to be adding oh, go ahead.
No, no, go for it.
They seem to be adding some kind of like land development thing.
Yeah, it
Uh
seemed like there's like an old town, and they're kind of
yeah.
showing up to, live it up or whatever. I don't know what they said, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't fucking get it.
we'll see, we'll see. I
Fucking
just
Gen
remember,
Xers.
I just remember, what was it? The reboot of Texas Chainsaw. That opening
Mhm.
scene. It's not the opening scene, I think, but it's the beginning. Where the kids in the van pick up the girl who basically was being tortured by Leatherface and family, and they're like going back. She's like, I can't go back. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's so vivid. She like pulls a gun from like her vagina and then just like blows her brains out. I'm just like, holy shit, it's fucking brutal.
Well, we were driving in the opposite fucking direction. God, that's fucking awful.
Yeah, so that was fucking cool. And that's the only thing I really remember from that movie.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm
Um,
genuinely sorry. If it makes you feel any better, this movie's only going to be about 80 something minutes. So
is it? Wait,
you're
what movie?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre
The
2022.
I thought it was a series.
I have no idea. It says like
I thought it was a series. I thought they. Oh man. Well, it's fine. Movie, series, whatever.
that's disappointing.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
mean, honestly, I think if they were going to make it a series, it should just be a three-parter.
yeah.
A
I agree.
three-parter, 50 something minutes apiece,
Yep.
because like this 10 episode syndication thing is not helping. You
Mm-mm.
either have like I was saying last week, you either have like one singular story and it takes too many episodes to get to that singular story,
Yeah.
or you don't have enough episodes to really just kind of like relax and get to know your characters. Like
Mm-hmm.
I hated fucking watching Star Trek The Next Generation, all 26 fucking episodes, 7 seasons, and like a lot of it's all fluff. It's all just like standalone shit. You don't know, like none of the shit carries over. But like there's some great episodes where you get to know people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I would love if the let's focus on the story crowd of Netflix or like streaming film movies like shortened that. Oh, here we're gonna make a five-parter. We're gonna make a four-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what Disney's doing. Like, hey, we're gonna make like a TV movie basically. And then like,
Yeah.
oh, if we're gonna make something that's gonna be meant more for television, like high concept television, let's do 15 episodes. 15 is like a good sweet spot. I remember fucking Star Trek Discovery when they were doing 15 episodes in season 1 and they had some fucking solid episodes that were
Mm-hmm.
just like had nothing to fucking do with the main story. It was just like, "Oh, hey, fucking we found this thing that loops time. Oh, cool. Well, fuck the main story." Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah,
Well,
you know what? Like if they actually had committed some time and effort into this movie, I could totally see it being like a three-parter.
mm-hmm. Makes sense too. And that reminds me, I watched the first 3 episodes of Liv. What's that series called? Pam and Tommy. Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's a show about, I guess, how like that the first celebrity sex tape came about. Um,
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know if it's real. I'm not gonna look into it, but it was
Oh yeah,
like
no, that's real sex tape.
no. I meant like the story that they're telling is real or not.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, it's obviously sensationalized, but
yeah,
the gist of the story is like, oh, they recorded a sex tape. It was their own personal thing. Uh, some fucking repair dude or whatever, like, was there, did some kind of housework or whatever, and just took the video.
yeah. So I don't know if you're ever gonna watch it. I don't know how much I want to spoil. But it's
Does the sex tape get leaked in the end?
I haven't gone that far in the series.
Fuck! God damn it!
um, but obviously Seth Rogen is the repairman who takes the video. And Nick Offerman is in it. He's
Mhm.
cool. Um, and uh, Winter Soldier is Tommy Lee,
I know.
which
I
is
love it.
yeah, he does. Yeah, I can see him being Tommy Lee. Like I keep seeing Winter Soldier because he's Winter Soldier, but I think
His
he
goatee is
plays.
quite right.
Yeah, but it's fine. I
If I
think
had
he.
to nitpick and be a fucking bitch about it, no,
Mm,
the
you know,
goatee fucking ruins it for me.
I will say this. Best part of the series. Well, again, I've only seen 3 episodes. I'm not sure if I'm gonna see any more, but I only saw 3 episodes. Um, CGI penis.
No.
Yeah, and he talks.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. That was probably like they actually show like I'm pretty sure it's prosthetic, but they show Schlong and it's funny. It's funny.
Nice.
So yeah, I forgot to add that to the week thing because it really, I I really wasn't planning to talk about it, but because we're talking about series, and I was like, oh hey,
Jason Mantzoukas plays Tommy's penis.
yes,
Oh my god.
it's great, dude.
Fuck! God damn it! Now I have to fucking watch
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's fun. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna keep watching. I think the parts that I probably would have enjoyed have already gone. Like, and it's like there's very few parts that I enjoyed. Like the CGI penis was one of them.
Of course.
I feel like that's probably it. So okay, uh, I'm a little confused with the show. I'm a little. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just for me personally, like there's just too much stuff happening. Like, so it's supposed to be funny, but there's
Right.
like this seriousness behind it, right? Like they kind of delve like why the repair guy decided to steal from them, um, and then
Because he's Seth
also
Rogen.
yeah, exactly. And then also like there's like they're doing backstory on both like Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson, like kind of like the stuff that they're going through at
At the
that
time.
time, and like it
Yeah.
kind of gets kind of I wouldn't say like super serious like drama stuff, but like they do delve more into like them as a character and stuff like that, and like I think that's fine, but like I guess that's not my thing. I don't know
Yeah.
because it's
I
like
get you.
it's like if it was a fictional character, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I might feel more involved. Like, okay, I don't mind some backstory, but because it's a celebrity in our world, I'm just kind of like
Mhm.
I don't really care.
I
Like if
I
I
actually really agree with you on that. I don't know
yeah
what it is, but part of me is turned off by like biographies or autobiographies or like
yeah
biopics.
mm-hmm
I think I think like satirical, exaggerated like fiction
mm-hmm
is more enjoyable and could probably be more telling
yeah
in a way that like, you know, fucking you have like a an actor who has like this perfectly refined version of a real human being
yeah
like saying stuff that a writer would write and not what they would necessarily say.
mm-hmm
Like there's probably a bit where like Pam and Tommy were having a really fucking awful argument, especially with how apparently Tommy was physically abusive too. But like then I would imagine if you could physically copy that argument, it would still feel like an argument from a movie, right?
mm-hmm yeah
And that's the thing that I don't typically care for. I hate when like you have characters who are based off of these real people making like these grandiose statements. So like these like, you know, movie statements. Like one of the things that I fucking like I actually really wanted to see King Richard, the Will Smith,
yes
Venus, and Serena Williams thing. Like
mm
Stace wanted to see it, I wanted to see it, but like one of the scenes I absolutely like hated in the trailer was this line that Will Smith, or when someone says, "Oh, you realize you got the next like fucking major basketball or some sports person," and then Will Smith's like, "I got me the next two," and I'm like, or no, no, no. He goes to his wife and he's like, "Oh, these girls, they gonna shake things up," and I'm just like, probably not the same line along lines what you are like not cool with, but like I don't know.
yeah
I don't know. Just the fact that like they're saying it because it like happened, I think it's like cringy for me
yeah
at least.
yeah it's
But
just
I wonder if like I'm inconsistent that way. Like, oh, I have a movie that is based off of real events that maybe I would be okay with, but I don't
mm.
think I've seen one.
Yeah, I just when it's a film adaptation, I don't like I like actual biographies, you know what I mean? But I not the biggest fan of like film adaptations of things because they obviously have to change things, to keep the audience intrigued and involved and all this other stuff, and so things are going to change, and that's why I
Mhm.
personally don't like film adaptation of things. Like I might watch something if it's entertaining enough, but for the most part I won't be fully invested, especially with things that are like, yeah, like if that happened in real life. Like I'd rather just go and watch like an actual documentary about it if
Yeah.
it's like, stuff like that. But yeah, it's and I think the thing that got me was because Seth Rogen's in it and Nick Offerman. I felt like, and again, there is comedy involved. It's just
Mhm.
like they're doing this whole backstory on the repair guy too, and it's just like, okay, I'm a little like,
I'm done.
yeah, I'm like not fully in intrigued, with the story, because it's like how much of it is true, how much is it false,
Mhm.
and um yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
I
Pam and
wonder if
Tommy.
I'm. Yeah. No, I'll give it a watch. I'll see if it's any good.
At least watch. I don't know about. So you can watch the first episode. The
At
CG,
least watch the first
the
three
the
episodes, as
the
far as
the,
I.
the, the CGI penis is in the second episode, so I'd say at least watch that. That's about it.
I almost want to ask for context, but I really want to go in surprised.
Yeah, just knowing that there's a CGI penis
Yeah.
that talks.
I feel like mm, now that you put it that way, huh, I I tend to wonder about something like Goodfellas, right? Like
Mm,
that's autobiographical. I actually don't know if it's based off of a book or anything, but would I feel the same way if I read the book or knew that it was based off of one person?
right.
Or maybe if it's based off of one person, it's more enjoyable instead of like on omniscient depiction of some person's life, because
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned that before. I tend to not like the bio the this person's life biography,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um I think a movie where I might feel that way is like Argo, which is
Yeah.
a period piece by Ben Affleck, which involves him in the CIA, or a person in the CIA trying to exfiltrate for American embassy people in Iran,
Okay.
and he creates fake film credentials for them and creates a whole new like studio and gets them out of the country. This actually happened,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some cringy lines now that I think about it. But I'm maybe not as sympathetic to it, but I'm not oh, I'm against this. It's just, oh, it actually happened.
Yeah.
I just wonder where the difference is, for me at least, because I
Yeah.
get that is a hypocrisy. It's you know,
Right. I mean, the thing
like
is, like, certain film adaptations, I'd say, like they're film adaptations, but like they do a really good job of just making a movie like with that story. Like they don't
and not.
they really don't try to follow the actual story to a T. They're just like, we're gonna make a movie that's kind of like revolves around this story, but we're not gonna follow the story 100%, nowhere near.
Mhm.
Um, and it just turns out a really good movie. Like Independence Day, for example, great film adaptation. You
Yeah,
know,
I remember when the fucking aliens came in. I didn't.
mm-hmm.
They didn't look nothing like the real aliens.
Yeah,
Will Smith, man, get
yeah,
about it. Jeff Goldblum. I remember when he said that when he was in the ship.
right.
Uh huh.
But
Good night.
but no, like I'm trying to think of a film adaptation that's like, um, oh, I'm an idiot. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
That is a fucking amazing movie but it's like I don't actually know if there's actually that story of a platoon, a squad,
Hmm.
whatever group of soldiers having to like extract a specific soldier to because the rest of his siblings died. I
Are
don't
dead
know.
as fuck. Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually a story. You know what I mean? But because it is based around that area in World War II and where it happened. At least the opening scene, right? Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
D-Day.
Yeah, I'm sure Spielberg was like, "Yep, this. I want to make a movie for this. Like at least show the fucking carnage that happened in that in the opening scene, and then we'll
Hmm.
make a story happen." But again, I don't know if they're actually, but I feel like that I would say is a film adaptation that turned out to be a really, really, really good film. Um,
Hmm.
but again, like if I'm trying to find out, like if I'm trying to watch a movie for this, like I'm not gonna watch a film adaptation. I'm always gonna go watch a documentary. But then I'm never gonna diss a really really good film adaptation when it
Hmm.
is a good film. Like excluding the adaptation part, if it's just a good film, like comes up like with this show, Pam and Tommy. That's what I'm saying. It's nothing against it. It's just for me, like because it's like celebrities, and I'm not really into celebrities. It's just not my cup of tea. Like,
Hmm.
and it catches me off guard because there's like comedy in it, but then like again, CGI penis who talks. Um, but then like they're like going like there's stuff that happens to Pam, and it kind of gets serious about it, right? Like the discrimination that she went through when she was in Baywatch and all that. There's that,
Yeah.
and then like you find out some stuff about Tommy and his upbringings and stuff like that. So it's like, but and then there's like this whole thing with the repair guy, and you're just like, wait, what the fuck? Like, there's just like a lot of backstory off these characters. So they're like making an actual series, but I don't know how much of it is true, right? So
Hmm.
it's like I don't like the story itself. I'm not into already. So like that's why I feel like I'm already done with it. But like I don't know, it's one of those, right? Like
Hmm.
it's just not my cup of tea. I'm sure some people will get fully invested and watch the entire series, and there's nothing
Oh
wrong with
right.
that,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure they they enjoyed it, but like for me, it's just like again, like like you were saying, right? There may be um some films that are technically film adaptations that you
Hmm.
enjoy because of the story, or you're involved because of what the main story is based around. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just like, you know, preference. It's like you enjoy some movies, you don't enjoy others. It is what it is. It's just like for me, like if I'm trying to learn about a story that I actually want to know about, I would go to
Right. Yeah.
documentary over film adaptation, and then the Pam and Tommy like story.
I feel
I
like
don't care about.
the yeah. I feel like the best way to articulate that is the sensationalization of it gets in the way of the actual story.
Yes, I think that's
Like,
yeah.
like,
Hmm.
you like what you and I were saying. If it was a thin satire, like if it was about like fucking what is it what oh this is the story of Fanny Nelson and fucking James Long
Hmm.
and their late 80s early 90s sex slip up, like that would be a completely different story where you would have creative license to say whatever you wanted,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Instead of it being like, oh, this is Pam and Tommy, and this is people who, like I was saying, look like perfect refined versions of these real people doing like sock puppet theater, right?
Yeah.
And in regards to Saving Private Ryan, I actually recommend my preferred war movie of 1998,
Mm.
The Thin Red Line. The Thin Red Line is
Oh.
based off of a book, based
Hmm.
off of I think the experiences of the guy who wrote it, but it's a for me, I think it's far more enjoyable. It doesn't have that kind of like blistering realism that everyone loves Saving Private Ryan for. But the Thin Red Line is like a searing criticism of war in and of itself, and has a great fucking cast. Absolutely great. It's set so if Saving Private Ryan is set in the Jesus, what am I saying? If that one is set in the European theater, this one's set in the Japanese theater, the Pacific theater. I mean,
Oh, okay.
yeah, pretty good, really good fucking film. Bigger cast than Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, I'm looking
Um,
at it now. Yeah.
Personally, yeah, I do enjoy this one a bit more. The other one comes off as a little preachy, I guess. Like, we're all brothers here, and like that's all well and good for like someone who just enjoys movies, but like I don't know, that tends to like rub me the wrong way, military wise stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's great. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch this one. This one's or don't. I don't give a shit. Well, I do,
I,
but
f-
if you are not wanting to watch it, I would understand.
I feel like I've watched this when I was younger.
Hmm.
It's just a long time ago.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Film adaptations.
Damn good.
Yeah. Um, man, we went completely off track. But it was good. It was good.
Damn straight it was.
You want to talk about another trailer we saw?
Fuck yeah. Bring it. Hit me.
Halo.
Oh no.
Hollow. Oh, I don't know. I don't know the intro. There you
Oh,
go.
oh, oh, oh. Okay, that's the Halo TV series. This show, my man,
Hmm.
uh, has been in development hell for almost 10 years.
Really? I didn't know it was that long.
Spielberg, oh yeah. Spielberg talked about advertising this series way the fuck back when Halo 4 was being announced.
So is Spielberg directing this?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no, no. He's
Oh,
not.
okay.
He dropped any relation to this a while ago.
Got it. Got it.
This is they have like I wait, hold on, let me look this shit up real quick. Oh fuck no, he's attached to it. Just fucking took him long enough. Yeah, he's just executive producer, so he's just like, "Oh, hey, I'm Steve." That's exactly one to one what Steven Spielberg sounds like. I'm Steven Spielberg. I want money for this franchise to be made into a show, and the fucking studios are like, "Yep, yeah, Steven Spielberg. Yep, how much you want?" Like, "I'll just put an extra zero on there." So, okay, okay, okay. I'm
Mhm.
paying attention.
Yes.
So the trailer came out, and
Yes.
I think so. Okay, word salad gone. Collect my thoughts. The Master Chief looks really good from what I've seen.
Hmm.
Looks really fun. The outfit doesn't look too like bulky. You know, like bulky, like it looks big and shit'll just fall off of me.
Yes.
Not with this. The armor looks good. I can't speak to the other outfits all that much. They had another couple of Spartans that I'm not entirely sure on, um, with different armors, and they looked a little wonk, just a little. But I am keeping an open mind for that. Um, Settings look okay. I always take issue with like, I don't know. There's always like the occasional like prop that just looks like it doesn't belong, but that's just me nitpicking. So I'm gonna try my best to avoid that
Yeah.
because I do have very searing criticisms of this trailer. But I really do want to keep an open mind. Um, the actress who's playing Catherine Halsey looks pretty good. I'm interested in seeing where she comes from. Okay. The trailer looks like it's set in a specific time, but I'm seeing characters who don't fit the age range. So I'm wondering if it's set over like a couple different periods, but
Okay.
then the armors wouldn't necessarily make sense. Um, but that's like a nerd thing that I don't necessarily think should matter all that much unless they make a big deal out of it. Um, Visually, the special effects looked really good. There was a moment where Master Chief was actually fighting against a couple elites, and for a moment I thought like, oh look, he's fighting against a couple sticks with tennis balls. But no, they actually did a really good job at kind of giving him some choreography. Like he's not just like throwing his hands at something and then like in post production they like move his hands up a little bit more. It looks good so far. Um, there honestly isn't that much to talk about, I think, in terms of story quite yet. They introduced an interesting little thing, uh, which looks like a human member of the Covenant or like a human like villain, which
Yeah.
I think would be really interesting. If it's set during or around the Halo 4, 5, and Infinite era, that would be pretty cool. That's something that I don't think we've actually ever really gotten the chance to see. Most of the human villains, quote unquote, in the Halo franchise are like insurrectionists. Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so um, that's pretty much it. So it'll be interesting to see someone who's like, "Hey, I'm part of the Covenant. Like, I'm the only human since they hate humans, but like, I'm super fucking devout. So I'm also down for genocide. So I'll be the pick me human if you let me." So that's interesting. I actually really like that. I'm looking it up, and there's actually something that I actually really enjoy. Um, there's an actor who I enjoy who's been acting for like a good 30, 40 years almost, actually. 30? Yeah, 30. His name is Bokeem Woodbine,
Okay.
and I'm trying to think of something that you would recognize him in. He was in the remake of fuck. He was in the remake of Total Recall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, in his filmography, he was in the first MCU Spider-Man. He was the
Oh,
Shocker.
shocker. How am I
God,
not remembering that?
I'm trying to think. Oh man, it
Wait,
sucks because I know most of these movies, but it's like I can't think of anything that you would immediately know right off the bat
wait,
that
wait,
he
wait.
would
For
be
first MCU, the Shocker,
in. Or he's the Shocker too. He's the second Shocker.
the
So
second
there's the
Shocker.
first one who dies by accident, and then there's the second one.
Wait, what? Who's the Shocker? Wait, I'm so
Oh man,
confused. What?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
No, no, no. I
It
need to
doesn't
figure this
really
fucking
matter.
out. No, it does fucking matter. Hold on.
So so you remember
Shocker.
they like Vulture accidentally kills a guy by accident. Like
Oh
he threatens to kill
yeah.
him, but he actually kills him.
Yes.
He gives his like shocker technology stuff to another guy, Bokeem Woodbine,
I see that. Yes. Now I see him. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he's this. I feel so bad because he's actually a really enjoyable actor. Um, but like I can't think of anything that you would immediately recognize him in.
Oh.
Fuck.
I'm going through his IMDb.
I'm Dib.
So he plays Master Chief.
No, fuck no. He
Oh.
plays a character from the books that I actually really like. He plays
Okay.
a washed out Spartan with like physical deformities from the chemical inject. So for a Spartan is essentially a human being who fits a specific genetic marker that is chemically and surgically upgraded with uh like biomechanical like implants. So they do some kind of chemical thing which makes them like their muscles stronger, density, their bones are stronger and shit like that, eye reception, ear. They essentially chemically and biologically make them like superhumans, and then they reinforce parts of their bodies with like biomechanical shit.
Mm.
But what ends up happening is a bunch of fucking kids um end up either dying or become like horribly fucking like mutilated and disfigured and deformed from the chemical or
Oh.
biological implants that they do. And one of them is a character called Soren. And Catherine Halsey, the woman behind all this, um, famously gives him the only choice as to whether or not like he wants to be part of the program or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole point of this thing is to like kidnap a bunch of kids, clone them with like fucking copies of them that'll die in like 3 years
Oh.
and just yeah, no, when I told you a little while ago like the story of Halo
Yeah.
is just unattractively fucked up the more you watch, the more and more like books and stories you read.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the games Catherine Halsey is like, oh yeah, I'm the smart person who can do anything. No, in the fucking in the book she's pretty fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
she Her and Captain Keyes are part of the initial program to like scout genetically uh attractive candidates,
Okay.
and she's responsible for like cataloging and picking all the people that get kidnapped. Then they go through the training process, then the chemical process, then the fucking metal process. And Soren is the only one who isn't just outright fucking kidnapped. She just goes up to him and is like, "Your life is fucking awful. I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want to do this? There's probably no turning back." He's like, "Yeah, I'll fucking do it." At like age 7, turns into a fucking a goon at like 14, then runs away and becomes like a member of the insurrectionists. So really cool that they're making this character live action. Um, hmm.
So I I've seen one of the movies he's been in. The Rock,
Shut the fuck up, Harry.
and he was
Do you know how
actually,
hard it would have been for me to explain what fucking character he is in The Rock?
and you know what else? I'm
What?
surprised you. No, no. He was the sheriff in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, but I didn't know if you'd know that.
I mean, I remember him because I was like, man, he looks familiar. I've seen him
Yeah, Bokeem
before.
Woodbine. He's in fucking everything, man.
Yeah. So,
God damn. Anyway, long fucking story short, I'm interested in that character. Um, but yeah, one of the things that gets me is the same shit that I was fucking talking about earlier. There's a
yeah.
line that Halsey says in the trailer. It's like the Spartans were created for one thing and one thing only, or for one mission, to end this war. And I'm like, bitch, no, 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 no. You kidnapped a bunch of fucking kids because you didn't like insurrectionists, and the fact that the Covenant came, this fucking gigantic, human-hating, genocidal, theocratic fucking group hell-bent on like exterminating human life. That is the only thing.
Mm,
That is the only thing that gives her any coverage. So, um, yeah, it's going to be difficult for me because part of the series has to be about kids being kidnapped,
yeah.
and then the other half has to also be like, hey, this theocratic conglomeration of aliens wants to kill us. Um,
Yeah.
we need this super soldier to fix everything.
Mm,
So yeah, um, odd that it's just it's so tonally whack. Because it's like, oh, everyone's excited because, like, yeah, of course, like the visuals look great and it looks fun and it looks silly and all this and that. And then the more and more you play the games and you're like, oh, it's just so riveting. And it's like
Right.
you hear a little bit about their backstories and you're like, oh, that's kind of sketch, but like, okay. And then you fucking read shit. And it's like, oh wow, the fucking the UEG, the United Earth Government, and all that's pretty fucking awful. Hard to root for them too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks interesting. The special effects look on fucking par with what I'd expect. Um, the acting looks good. I'm not gonna nitpick about like what I've seen other people nitpick about, well, like, oh, the armor looks off, or oh, Cortana looks at. It's like I don't care. I don't care. I just think it's a kooky franchise to make a show out of. And there was one bit that was really fucking funny that I love. And
Mm.
it was someone who paused the trailer midway through and said, once they noticed this, why is there a 2001 Chevy Tahoe on another planet 500 years in the future? And that's the kind of thing that I talk about where a prop just doesn't kind of belong.
Yeah.
And it makes me giggle. Like, there were a couple people with AKs in the trailer, and I was like,
Right.
I don't know, you're hurting your credibility. But anyway, um, I honestly am not that excited for it. My Halo days are kind of over.
Yeah.
Uh, I've read most of the fucking lore, and all it brought me was sadness.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's fun. I'll give it a watch. I won't
Yeah.
be too crazy into it.
Okay.
But I will try to sit out some of my biases. If they make a good story, they make a good story. That's all I really
Yeah.
care about. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about the story. um, so it'll be intriguing to go in, blind kind of. Um,
I'm gonna nitpick
so
everything.
yeah,
Oh man, I'm gonna find
which
a
is
way.
fine. We've done this before where I go in blind and I just kind of say my part, and then you come in
I'm
and nitpick.
upset
Yep.
because they have on the casting list, they have Miranda Keys and Jacob Keys,
Mm.
but they don't have fucking Sergeant Johnson.
See, I don't know who that is.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Think of Apone from Aliens.
Okay. Fair enough.
The Fabulous Day in the Marines. I love the Corps. Look into my eye.
Dude, great movie. What was I gonna say? I don't know. But yeah. It's a series that we're gonna be watching, and you're gonna nitpick it. I'm just gonna watch it and enjoy it as much as I can.
No, no, no. I'll be good. I'll be a good guy.
It's fine. These things deserve to get nitpicked.
Yeah, fuck
Um,
it.
so it's almost midnight, and we have two topics that are probably gonna take us way
I
beyond
swear
that.
I'm not trying to push this off.
No, me neither, me neither.
How about we just try to commit this next week?
Okay, you know what? I know what to talk about. It'll be short, but next week we'll do the big topics because
Okay.
the big topics we're gonna be delving. All right, see, we delved really far today into like, okay, these are gonna be super quick. Like it took us like
I'm
an hour.
sorry.
It took us like an hour
I'm
to get out of our
sorry.
weeks. It's not just you; it's me
That
too.
I had to compensate for the fact that you fucking didn't even go into yours. So
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so you know how we talked about Godzilla? Um, I okay, so as I
yes.
was like, dude, I'm gonna watch the movie, like 1998.
So did I.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in a long time, right, kid?
You're the worm guy, huh?
Yeah.
Dr.
So
Nico Topotopoulos?
yeah,
It's Topoulos.
yeah,
Whatever.
dude, it's actually really good. like
It's so
if
yeah.
if it didn't have the Godzilla name, it I think it wouldn't get as much flack.
Yeah.
Um, it's just because it has the Godzilla name that it gets a lot of hate. But
Oh yeah.
honestly, the story's legit. Um, and the way they designed a smaller and more agile Godzilla, more like a raptor, makes sense that it's in.
A T-Raptor.
Yeah, it makes more sense that it's inside of Manhattan.
Mhm.
So yeah, I thought it was really good. Even with the side story of the doctor and the reporter, or doctor, the fucking scientist and the reporter and all this
The
bullshit.
worm guy.
Yeah, the worm guy.
He deserves to be with the other scientist. I don't know why they put the fucking reporter in there, but oh my god, she is so obnoxious.
Yeah, yes, she
The only
is.
person more obnoxious than her is the anchorman. Oh, Todd, can I get a fucking pillow here? Or what?
Yeah,
Oh, so come have dinner with like my god,
dude.
so
Yeah,
fucking bad.
yeah.
I like I have my issues with it, but like it's just you just switch your fucking brain off and you enjoy like what I was saying to you before, like the '90s New York vibe it gives off, and like
Mm-hmm.
the it's a monster. Da, da, da. Had like a Alex Jones thing going on there. So you're talking about a bunch of monsters, and they're ran by a cabal in America. Sorry. Yeah, I liked it. And then the third act was just fucking baby T Rexes. So good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really liked
Make
it.
me smell like the fish.
Um, yeah, I thought it was gonna be like I watched a little bit of I think I said last week, I watched a little bit of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like the first, I think, 20 minutes or so, and it's
So good.
cheesy. It's cheesy, right? Like like this isn't like
Like
the
it's
greatest. It's not the
yeah
greatest film, but it's entertaining. Um, I thought that's what this was gonna be, but I was like, you know what? This is actually a good story. Like it makes all sense. Like as a kid, you're just like, I just want to see
yeah
Godzilla, but like as an
yeah like
adult rewatching it,
yeah, that makes enough sense for me. Like it's got enough of a story to feel to feel coherent, and the main character isn't too unlikable. It's just
yeah,
that fucking reporter character. Oh my god. Roland Emmerich does this thing where it's like I was saying last week, where it's like he has three separate stories and three separate groups of people, and they kind of converge.
yeah,
It's like information. It's actually not terrible because it's like you don't give the one person all the exposition or all the story. You have like these three separate groups coming together with like different pieces of the puzzle.
yeah.
But like her thing just doesn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like all it does is a plot fulfillment. All it does is make him fall into the hands of the French Secret Service, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
you're not
it.
wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah,
Cut her part out. I like the New York reporter stuff. Like I like The Office. Part of what I enjoy is like the upper office. Like there's you can see it like face level, I guess. But like
yeah,
what's acting inside the office is just jank.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun,
Fuck yeah! Can't wait for the sequel. The the requel.
dude.
Oh
So silly.
god, please. Roland Emmerich, the same guy who just did the fucking Moonfall movie, comes back and does a fucking requel of Godzilla 98. Oh man.
That'd be fun. I'd watch it.
That's not even funny. I want that.
Like I want that.
And
Yeah.
he's such a god. He's just capitalized on the whole I'm a disaster film guy who just makes like big budget turn off your brain stuff so it'll be fucking perfect.
Yeah. And it definitely like it went off the hype of like one of the Jurassic Park.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the music,
Yes.
it just
The
everything would just
mhm.
scream Jurassic Park. And like it did kind of bother me. I'm like, but at the same time, like I guess it just made sense at the time because Jurassic Park
Fucking
was a fucking hit.
yeah. Jurassic
So,
Park was not a fucking hit. Jurassic Park was a fucking cultural fucking phenomenon.
fair enough.
God,
But
so good.
yeah, dude.
I'm
Uh,
looking now at the baby Zillas. I'm like, man, I would have killed for like a fucking like a million little action figures of these. Come on now.
mm-hmm. Feel like, yeah. Trying to think if that was like a thing with the little baby Godzillas, or was it just the parent
I don't know. Zilla.
yeah
Honestly, dude, check out the cartoon. The cartoon's fun.
cartoon? You got it. And
Cartoon.
I just don't know how much I'm gonna have to like. I don't know, man. I
You
mean,
really don't have to be invested. Just pick something that fucking looks fun and just be like, oh hey, cool, yeah.
oh, okay, all right, I'll do that.
Whatever, bro.
Um, yeah, it's almost midnight. We will talk about
I'm
NFTs
sorry.
and
I'm so
conspiracies next
sorry.
week. No, 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 no. Hey,
I'm so
I
sorry.
enjoyed my time. I had a fucking kick ass time. I ate some cheese
I'm
and
so sorry.
crackers. I don't know if anybody noticed. Um, we talked about other shit. Um, we just went off the rails as we usually do. That's our thing, Mark. That is our thing. We go off the
It should
rails.
be off the rails.
That should be the name
Off the
of the
rails with the cock axe.
yeah, cock shaped axe. Yes. And this goes out to Gary.
Yeah, this goes out to fucking Gary the Lich.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, dude, let's call it here and we'll for sure do it next week and gaming tomorrow. So if for some reason someone's like listening to this and wondering, I want more Harry and Mark
Yeah,
and
those are guys whose input I really appreciate
right.
and like.
Well, we stream usually on Friday nights, so you should totally come by and listen to us there. We
Or if by chance
mhm.
you watch Harry's stream,
Mhm.
welcome, and have been invited here based on that.
Oh yeah,
Welcome.
vice versa. Yeah, welcome.
Versa Vista.
I hope you enjoyed our rants of stuff
Fuck yeah.
of digital penises and liches. Yeah, you ready?
Leeches
Leeches. Ready for the
or
outro?
pitches. Fuck yeah. Folks, if you like this content, like and subscribe. Copy and paste. Algorithm. I just
Mhm.
hear other people say it on YouTube. Just going with the trends.
Yep.
Uh, hitting the mark with Harry and Mark. Fuck you. If you want to email us, tell us about your day. We are not trained psychological evaluators, but we'll listen. You can hit us up at hittingthemark2020 at gmail.com. Again, hittingthemark2020 at gmail.com. And if you'd like to be up to date with our minute to minute tweets, you can hit us up at capital H, capital T, capital M underscore podcast. One more time, HTM underscore podcast. Folks, you have a wonderful night.
Bye bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, assholes.